This is a soul path reading for Rising Up. Okay, so I have two crystals here. I'll show you those in a second. So your guides chose the code name for you. The guides always choose the code name. I am going to mention here that it did take me a minute to actually connect to your guides. At first, I was sensing some other things that were attempting to block me from being able to connect to your guides. So I'm going to get into that as well. And I always surround us in positive space before I begin the reading. In this case, since it was your first video reading, I had to get the code name from your guides. And so I've already surrounded us in some positive space. But just because of what I was sensing, I'm going to go ahead and surround us again. And just make sure that nothing comes through. I only want your guides to be able to come through during the reading. Okay, so I'm going to surround us again using my selenite wand here. And this is just a simple visualization that I do. It's just for protection for the reading. So I'm basically just surrounding us. I'm just visualizing that we're surrounded in sort of a protective, sacred space. Okay, so you might have noticed that I jerked a little bit. So this is when I'm surrounding a person, sometimes there'll be some type of block in their energy. And so sometimes I'll sort of feel like the energy hits against that block and then it kind of releases. And sometimes I'll jerk a little bit when I'm feeling that. So just to explain what that was, I don't know how used to being read you are. Okay. Of course, just to clarify, I can't really say I'm reading you because I'm connecting to your guides. That's what I'm tapping into to do the reading. I am sensing your energy a bit, but it's still your guides that give me the interpretation of whatever I'm sensing, even if I am sensing something with your energy field. So there's definitely a couple of energies that I was sensing here. And I would not call these entities, I would call them thought forms. So that would be a whole thing to get into, but that's kind of more your own creation. It's still similar to an entity. It will still act in a kind of similar way, but it's much less advanced. It's very programmed to do certain things. It's based off of your own fears. It's sort of your own creation, your own kind of conscious programming. So it's based off whatever you were dwelling upon when it sort of came into form. So, but this has advanced a little bit. So it's been with you for a little while. It can send you more things now. But again, it's just based off things that you've felt. And it feels like even things that you've kind of felt your whole life. Now, one of these was definitely trying to kind of interfere, kind of be in between me and your guides. But then there was another energy coming up that wanted to more pose as a guide, even though it wasn't. So I would say this would be part of the reason maybe that you were having some trouble feeling like you were connecting to your guides. Because you did mention that when you were meditating, you eventually stopped meditating because you didn't feel like you were getting anywhere. Obviously, guides can choose to respond in different ways. Sometimes we're not aware of their response. That would have been what I would have more assumed before I went into the reading. But now I'm going to say that there are some things that are actually attempting to block you from being able to connect with your guides, just because that's what was happening with me right away. Okay, so one thing here that was coming up is definitely some blocked throat energies. So this would be the throat chakra I'm referring to. There might be some physical damage there as well, even that I'm picking up on. Either that or this block here could manifest into something physical. So it also feels like kind of taking care of this area as well, physically, making sure that you take care of your throat. Also making sure that you take care of your immune system so that you don't catch anything, and especially throat-related things. So sinus, throat, this type of thing. Okay, so again, this is kind of, when we're getting into sinuses as well, they're mentioning this. Again, this is more like a connection to your guides. All this area up here, this is where communication happens between you and your guides. This is where you pick up on information from them, also even just from people. Like as you are going throughout your day, if you're picking up on someone's emotion empathically, if you're sensing things from them during conversations, which we always do, even if we're not really aware of that, that's all happening around here mostly. So when they're talking about this blocks all through here, or the potential for something to physically manifest up in here, if you're not careful and making sure that your immune system is built up and these things. But if this block becomes too much, then really you could end up with a physical problem anyway. So obviously it's important to combat it in various ways, but it can definitely help you to make sure that your immune system is functioning well and that it's strong. Okay, so now your guides are referring to what you were saying in the email, how you feel like you are awakening and going through this sort of dark night of the soul, and they're saying that that is sort of standard. That's extremely normal, common. Also, it's just like they're saying a sort of standard thing. It's like you have to purge all of your old beliefs out before you can step into new ones and replace them. And as you're replacing them, they can as well sort of fight to stay. And when you're transitioning into this new way of being, it's like the old way of being can just sort of try to kick you in the ass a little bit. And it's this process of letting go. And obviously there are a lot of different changes and transitions that can occur on the outside of us as well while we're purging all of these thoughts and purging these beliefs that we've had maybe for a very long time, and some things that are very entrenched as well. And then emotions also. And different emotions can also come up. But I do feel like these emotions that you're going through, this does not feel like a new thing to me. It doesn't feel like just all of a sudden they're there. Maybe they were better at different points during your life, but I feel like these have always kind of been with you. You've definitely had these come up and surface their ugly head at different points, it really feels like. There's even a kind of suicidal feeling. Not necessarily right now where you're feeling like this is something that is you're wanting to act on or something like that. But again, this is referring to at different points in your life, having suicidal thoughts even, or even thinking of acting on it at points. Whether this is something that you were actually like planning or something like this. It doesn't even have to be that intense. Just something that you were kind of feeling an emotion about doing, and kind of feeling like it would be better than living here in some ways. Some of this even feels like during some of your teenage years as well. So again, they're just saying that you have had a lot of this stuff for a long time. So, in other words, of course it's going to come up when you're awakening, okay? Because like they were saying, when you are awakening, you're purging all of that old crap, okay? You're purging old karma. You're also purging stuff from this lifetime that doesn't serve you. So if it's really intense stuff, which in some cases it really can be, then a lot of emotions can come up. You can feel suicidal, or you can just feel different waves of depression or fears or regret, and a lot of different things that you've carried for a long time. Now, they're also mentioning your age, your physical age. And so they're saying that, for instance, if someone was to awaken when they were a little bit younger, it doesn't mean that they don't go through something really intense. They could go through something even as intense as what you're going through. It really depends. There are varying degrees of what a person can go through regardless of age. But they are saying that due to your age, you have had a long time here of accumulating different things. Of course, somebody can be very young and they could have still, depending on the life they've had or past lives they've had, accumulated a lot. But in your case as well, due to physical age, it feels like you've accumulated a lot of earth junk. And you're releasing that and you're purging that. So they want you to kind of understand what's happening and give you a little bit of a perspective on exactly what is happening. Now, they're saying as far as finances, they're saying that that can be a very fearful thing. Obviously, they want to give you guidance in that area as well. However, they're saying that the only way to move forward in that area is to first clear some of this gunk. So they're saying they need to talk about that. They need to talk about how to clear this better. That's what will really serve you in terms of hearing from them. Because they're saying at this point, nothing would really work out, even if it were the right thing. So it's not necessarily about it being the wrong thing at the wrong time, or the right thing, wrong thing. Because it feels like at this point, even the right thing wouldn't really serve you to become financially stable. And they're saying that's not to alarm you or make you feel like it's going to take some tremendous long time. That's to say just this is the issue, okay? This is the reason why, and talk about this is what you need to do before you can even get to a spot where you could kind of see clearly, where they could get some ideas flowing to you and generate some thoughts that could help you with establishing a stable income. Right now, it feels like there's just too much around you. There's too much blocking you. So they're saying that in the same way that you have these thought forms, these energies that are saying, okay, I don't want your guides to come through during this reading because this threatens me, because this sort of goes against my thought wave, my programming, my agenda that you've been feeding on and that you've been sort of feeding me with so that I can grow. So that's another thing they're mentioning, is that these are sort of tangible fears as well. You've dwelled on them and you've created these sort of conscious programmings. So even though that's a little bit advanced, getting into some spiritual stuff that maybe you've never even really come across or heard of, they do want to mention it a little bit for the reason that they don't want you to identify with it. Okay, because it's not always you. Sometimes you've got something sending you an emotion or sending you some thought pattern that maybe you've been in for a long time, but you're not even sending it to yourself anymore. Okay, it's being sent to you, in other words, and you're on the receiver end, but it's going to feel very much like yourself. You know, you're not going to realize it. You're not going to realize necessarily, or probably not, that this is something on the outside of me, because you're just so used to feeling it. You're used to feeling it yourself since you created it. But to step out of it, you have to first stop identifying with it. And you have to try and generate a new feeling. Now, also they're saying if you feel like the medication is actually helping, they're not saying long term or something, but if you feel like that steadies you a little bit more or helps you remain in a little bit higher of a feeling or a little bit better of emotion or not drown in something, then that's a good thing, and that means that it serves a purpose. Obviously, they're saying they don't want you to get addicted to that because it is in their mind, certainly, and in yours, a short-term solution, because it's not really a solution. But sometimes you can just have a tool to just help you feel a little bit more stable or secure, or feel like you're not drowning in something that's trying to pull you down. And so that can serve a purpose. So they're saying to just go with your intuition on that. But if you feel like it's serving that purpose at all, then that isn't necessarily a bad thing. So they are saying that medications can serve a purpose if they're needed at the time. So they're stating that again. They're saying that the main thing is to not identify with the fear-based beliefs and with these emotions that are sent to you, to stop identifying with them, because that makes this energy around you grow. Okay, so this is also why something like that would want to block your guides from being able to speak, because obviously your guides are going to say something that goes against their energy, that goes against that message. So they very much conflict, your guides and this energy that you've created. And they know that. So that's why they're trying to block communication from you and your guides, because your guides are going to send you a peaceful feeling. They're going to send you love. They're going to send you joy. They're going to send you comfort and stability, all the things that you need to feel to be in a different vibration where you attract something different to yourself. And they're saying it's not all about a higher emotion, but that is a good start. They're also saying it's very simple to just say, oh, be in a higher emotion. But the thing is, again, you're identifying with these emotions. So if something is pounding you with something and it's sending you something and it really feels like yourself, it can be very hard to be in a higher emotion and to switch that and feel better. So they're totally understanding of that. They're saying that it's really about detaching. Detaching first. And they're saying, okay, yes, you're in this situation. And in the future, something could happen. In the future, for anybody, something could happen, whether it's negative or positive. So they're saying you're not alone in that. Everybody can experience something bad. Everybody could experience being hit by a car tomorrow, is their point. But you don't know what will happen in the future. So this is just a projection of fears. So they're saying that that alone can help you to detach, to be in the present, to realize right now I am safe. Right now I am okay. Today I'm fine. You know, I have my house, wherever it is that you're living. You have your house. you have some food, you have clothes. So they're saying you're financially stable enough to not have everything hasn't collapsed all around you. So they're saying that in the present moment, you are still safe. You're still okay. And this future kind of rhetoric, and that's what they're calling it, because it's just sort of robotic, programmed thoughts that are sent to you by something that isn't really that advanced or intelligent. It's just programmed to send it to you that way because that's what you were dwelling on. That's what you created it out of, created this programming out of. And now it's just sending you what it's programmed to say. And that's its response to how you've been feeling, what you've been thinking about. So they're saying, realizing that you're fine. In the moment right now, maybe you don't have everything, but you have enough. You have enough to get by. You are okay. And they're saying that that's the point. Today, I'm okay. I'm okay right now. You know, I haven't lost my residence. I haven't lost all my belongings or possessions. I am okay right now. And they're saying that that's all that matters. The only thing that matters is the present moment. And they're saying that if you can realize that, you can detach. And not worry about the future. And they're also saying that you should meditate again. But they're saying not in order to contact them, but in order to detach. And in order to step into a safer, more secure feeling. Not feeling desperate to call on something or contact or connect with something or reach out to something. Feel like you're reaching out to yourself, even your inner child, they're saying. And talk to your inner child. Tell it that it is safe. It's okay. They're saying to tell yourself that when you're younger. So they're saying you should go into meditation and you should try to imagine yourself being younger. The things that you needed to hear. What did you need to hear about yourself? Because they're saying that this is going to help to reprogram your subconscious mind, because you need to hear something else. You need to hear a different programming. You need to hear a different kind of conditioning. And they're saying that self-conditioning is the only thing that can help that once you reach a certain age. Now you need to hear it from yourself, not a parent, not an adult, that you didn't necessarily hear things from that you really needed to hear. Maybe some things that you needed to hear, sure, but other things not necessarily. No adult is perfect. Nobody's going to tell you all the things that you need to hear or give you all the love that you need to feel, and just all the positivity required for you to feel, 100%. And feel like I can move forward and I have everything that I need. So you're required to give that to yourself. And also they're saying not to judge yourself. So they're saying to step out of judgment of yourself. Because they're saying that you have judged yourself for feeling this way, or even almost like they want you to realize that you're not weak. You've felt these things, you've reacted this way, but it's not because you're a weak person. It's because you're bombarded by a lot of negativity. So they're saying to have respect for yourself, but they're saying that you do need to program yourself a different way. Now, they keep mentioning the root chakra. So the root chakra not only has to do with financial stability and independence, but it gives you a feeling of safety. It gives you a very secure feeling in the world. You're secure, you have all that you need, and you're worthy of it. So this is definitely a root chakra block. So they're also saying that you should focus on sending calming feelings to your root chakra, because they're saying that a lot of these programmings are sort of entrenched there. And a lot of emotions that don't serve you are kind of built up there in that chakra. They're also mentioning the sacral chakra, the two lower chakras, the two lowest chakras are the most blocked. They're saying, even though they were mentioning all of this stuff up here, so they're saying that all the chakras are having some issues right now. And they're saying that they could mention all of them in different ways. And they're saying, as you know, you're probably feeling that. Even if you don't know a lot about chakras, you are obviously aware that you're blocked in some various ways. And also that you're feeling things that can cause blocked or sort of harness a kind of blocked energy. But that's the thing. It can sort of harness it. It can call things into being. So they want you to be very careful that you are combating that. That you're dwelling on positive things, at least as much as you're thinking about negative things. And they're saying that they know that that's very hard. That's very hard for you, especially right now in your circumstances. But they're reminding you that that was all created out of your thoughts and out of your emotions. So you can switch all of those things if you can generate a new understanding of your circumstance and that you are safe now, and be and just feel freer, feel more relaxed, feel like you are in a heightened state, which again means reconditioning yourself. So they're saying to meditate. They're also saying to use tools. Use things like crystals. I use crystals. They give off different energies. So use things to help you feel calmer. Play some soft music when you're meditating. And try and focus your mind. They're saying you can write it down too. You can write down to your inner child all the things you feel like it needed to hear, especially focusing on safety, that it is safe, that it has everything that it needs, that it's loved, that it's provided for, that it isn't abandoned. Because there is almost this kind of abandoned feeling. but they're also saying that that's actually part of what you were meditating out of when you were trying to contact them and connect with them. They're saying that that's actually also part of the reason that it didn't work. It's also because of the energy. Because if the energy that you do something out of matches the thought forms around you too much, then you're going to be connecting with these thought forms that want to block your guides from getting through, versus being able to just step into an energy that connects to your guides and can sort of bypass those thought forms. So anything that blocks you is something that you're allowing to block you. And they're saying that that's actually a secure feeling. That's a good thing to know. Because if you created that, you can create something new. You can create something different. Okay, so we are up on the time frame, and that is what your guides have to say for this reading. Thank you very much for allowing me to do this reading for you. I truly hope that it benefits you. Thank you very much. Namaste.